121 and 122, solve using inverse matrices. Now you may think, well, wait a minute, haven't we already done that sum? Yes. Have you got this down? Here we go. Here we go. Solving systems of equations with inverses. Now, you have learned 4 ways to solve a system of linear equations with 2 variables and 2 equations. What's one way you know? Substitution, graphing, elimination, and the one you learned yesterday, Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule. Now you've got a box. Steps to solving an inverse, using an inverse matrix. Set up a matrix equation from the system. Now we did one of those. I did it with you at the end of the period on Wednesday, so you saw it again on the video yesterday. Step 2, find the inverse of matrix A. And step 3, multiply A inverse times B. Remember, when you get the inverse, you're going to multiply it in the front. Remember we talked about that? In the front. Write your answer as an ordered pair. Here we go. You ready? Now here's what you're going to write every time on these. You're going to write a matrix from the variables. What are the coefficients? What's the coefficient of x right here?
8.
And so 8 and 1, -3 and 1 times xy equals, you remember what goes in that last matrix? There you go. You have to write this. Write it like this. Super. Then you're used to it. Now, here we go. Which matrix, what matrix do we need to get rid of? The 2 by 2 that's on the left, or the 2 by 1 that's on the right? The 2 by 2 that's on the left, because what do I need to be by itself? What do I need by itself? XY. I need the XY to be by itself, so I have got to get rid of this matrix right here. Well, I wouldn't want to subtract, because what is happening with these 2 matrices? They're multiplied. I can't divide by a matrix. I can multiply by its inverse. Angel, you okay? I said, you okay? So here's what you're going to do. I want you to put above this matrix, this is matrix A, and this is matrix B. Now we're going to go down here and we're going to find the inverse of matrix A. And because it's a 2 by 2, that's easy. What's the first thing you do when you find an inverse of a 2 by 2? That's the funky part. What do I do before the funky part? The determinant. What's the determinant of this matrix? 8 minus -3 is 11. What do I do with that 11? Good. So it's 1 over 11 times the funky matrix. Now, my funky matrix, what sits right here? Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. What goes down here? Perfect. So, what do I do with that 1/11th? Good. I multiply it or I distribute it. That's fine. Okay. That's right. Same thing. What's 1/11th times 1? Good. Keep going. Good. Good. What am I going to do with that matrix? Multiply it by matrix B. Now, how do you want me to write this, Stennett? I want you to write it like this. I want you to write XY equals 1/11. Well, you don't need the dot, do you? -16, -5. Use your calculator for support, but not to actually enter the matrices. Don't do that. Use it for arithmetic. What is the answer is going to be? What dimensions? Yeah, this one's a 2 by 2. This one's a 2 by 1. So my answer is going to be a 2 by 1. All right, row 1, column 1. Row 1, column 1. -16/11 plus 5/11. What's that equal? -16 plus 5 is -11/11. The next one is row 2, column 1. Row 2, column 1. Good. -48/11 plus positive or negative? Plus -40/11. Good. -88/11. Bingo. There's your answer. Now, oh, whoops. I need to write it as XY, don't I? Yeah. So I need to write it as a point. -1, 8. There's my answer right there. -1. Can I check it? How? You can plug it back into those original equations and make sure it works. No, we've only done one example. Put this into your interactive notebook on page 121. Here we go. Solve for each variable using an inverse matrix. I want you to write this one down, I mean at the top of your paper, at the top. Go. Now, we're going to write our matrices. So what I would suggest that you do, here to the side, maybe we can save a little room. Go here to the side, and we're going to write our matrices. But just remember, you're going to have another problem to do. Our matrices, what's the variable matrix going to look like? 7 and 2, 8 and 2, times the matrix XY equals what I call the answer matrix, which is going to be if you can squeeze that into the side, I think you'll be all right. Now, I want you to call this matrix matrix A and call this one matrix B, just so that you can write to yourself A inverse equals, so you'll know, hey, I'm finding the inverse of that matrix, okay? How do I find the inverse of matrix A? What do I get? 14 minus 16 is, so 1/-2 times the funky matrix, 2 and 7, -2 and -8. Now all those are going to be nice except one, and it's not terrible. We're going to multiply every one of those 4 elements by -1/2. What are we going to get? -1, 1, 4, -7/2. Yeah, there you go. That's A inverse. Now what do I do with A inverse? multiply it by B. So now here's what you're going to write on this line, or set of lines. XY equals, do I put A inverse first or second? First. -1, 1, 4, -7/2 times matrix B, which was 24, 30. Now again, if you need support from your calculator for arithmetic, that's fine. Let's multiply. What are the dimensions of my answer? Good, it's a 2 by 1. Row 1, column 1. Row 1, column 1. -24 plus 30 is, good. Row 2, column 1. 96. Yeah, -210 divided by 2 is -105. That's right. So answer is 6, -9. Done.
Me neither. Like, Mrs. Logan's just so much fruit.
Oh, well, all right. Way to go. Well, shoot. All right. Well, the 2 on the bottom are 3 by 3, so you can write bigger. Oh, sorry. That's all right. All right, good. Next question. Write this one down. Whoops. Your variable matrix, 4, -3. Now what are we going to call them? What do I need to find? I need to find A inverse. -20 minus -18 is 1/38. Did we write that down right? Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah. Funky matrix.
5
And 4.
3 and -6.
Good. Blech. You don't have to. I think we found you had enough room, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Multiply the 1/38 by each of those elements. 5/38, 3/38, -6/38, and 4/38. That one will simplify and that one will simplify. How will 4/38 simplify?
19.
Oh, this one's -3/19, yeah. Good, and this one's 2/19. What do I do with the inverse matrix? Multiply it by what? Multiply it by B. Yep. So it's all right. It's B. That's B. That's cool. No problem. So you're going to write this XY equals, yes. You know, write it like this. Write it like this. Write it like this. 5/38, 3/38, -3/19, 2/19. Oops. Times Okay. Now listen, it's ucky, but it's not awful. Here we go. Row 1, column 1. 55 over 38 plus, not 30, no, right here. 21 over 38. What's that? It's 76 over 38, which is 2. Row 2, column 1, negative 33 over 19 plus 14 over 19, which is what? Negative 19 over 19. So your answer is? Okay, 2 more. Now notice they're 3 by 3s. There you go. You have got plenty of room. Plenty of room. Here we go. All right, doing fine. Let's go. Oh yeah, I guess you need to write down the problem, don't you? The dimensions of the first matrix you're going to write down are, dimensions are 3 by 3. Okay. What are the elements in the first row? That's a Z. Next row? Times, what's that matrix going to look like? X, Y, Z, good. Equals. I'm going to call this matrix A. I'm going to call this matrix B. You okay? What do I have to find now? A inverse. Now, ladies and gentlemen, go to your calculator and find the inverse of that matrix. Shoot, yeah. Once you get the inverse, and this is a 3 by 3, I'm not going to make you write down this matrix times the, okay, here's what I want you to write down. I'm going to allow you to do this. A inverse times B equals. Now, here's the deal. That means you got to put matrix B in your calculator, right? So, go in to matrix B. Don't overwrite matrix A. Go in and make a new matrix, matrix B, and put the 17, 5, 10 in. Do you all have, do you have your matrix B typed in? So what you're going to do now, you're going to actually type this in, A inverse times B. So you're going to go get your A inverse times, and then get your B. And remember, when I say get a matrix, that means you go under names. So you're going to, B should be the 3 by 1, this one right here. So if we do matrix A inverse times, use the times symbol, matrix B, I get this.
I scored it instead of being blind.
Did you all get this answer? Now remember, please stop talking. Your answer, that's X, that's Y, and that is Z. Well, on hers, she wrote out what A inverse was times B, and so don't ask me, that's just what she, okay. We have one more problem to do. Please write this one down. Now, what I would like for you to do, try to do it by yourself. If you're stuck, let me help you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I am recording. Right now I'm talking to Karen, I guess, since she's not here. Okay. Now, I'm going to go on my calculator and I'm going to find A inverse. Quiet, please. You have work to do. Yeah, you need to plug in everything that's in A, and then do A inverse. Correct. I'm just writing my inverse here. I won't take time. So I'm going to stop the recording, but I'm just going to write the inverse, and when I get it in, I'll start the recording again. Now, listen. Hey, here we go. Have you got the inverse?
Yes.
So you're going to write down, now Jacob Harrison said, but I put this one in C. That's fine. Then you just put C inverse times whatever matrix you put the other, whatever letter you put the other matrix in. It doesn't matter what names you give it. What did you get? You got this, and then you put, okay? Now listen to me. I'm going to give you your homework. I would strongly suggest the 3x3s on the back, do those first.